Who is having an experience? When we're super identified, it's not a question. I remember once I went to do a talk at my mum's carers meeting. My mum was a governor of carers in the UK, which is complicated to explain what it is, but if you're English, maybe you know. And she invited me to do a talk on mindfulness. And I know a bit about mindfulness because of having practiced Buddhism for so many years. So I went there and I tried to explain to them that things are a thought. So a thought comes up and you're saying this has happened or this has happened, and it's just a thought. And what began to happen in the audience was they began to get really mad with me, and I couldn't understand why they were getting so angry. And luckily my friend was there at the time to explain to me they don't know they're thinking. They believe it's true. It's just true. There's no distance, there's no awareness that they're thinking. And I was shocked. I got into this subject when I was so young, I couldn't remember being fully identified with thoughts and not even knowing that I was thinking. So knowing that the thought, they're a pain in the arse or they're a bad person, that's a thought that arises in the brain and isn't actually a reality. And what happened was this audience began to get really mad with me, and luckily my friend took over because I had no clue why they were getting so mad. But they were getting mad because that was their reality. They believed that it was true. They weren't even aware they were thinking. That was just the way it was. That's the way it was. It was shocking. I was so shocked after that. I just couldn't remember it. And that's sometimes, I think I'm really great at relating to people, but sometimes I think I'm not so great in certain ways at relating to newcomers because it was so long ago that I got into this subject. And maybe sometimes a bit better for people that aren't so new to the subject. When they're new to the subject, I forget these little details. So at the beginning, you're just totally identified with what's happening. So any thought you have, you believe is a reality. So you believe that the table, that word table is a reality. You believe that I'm a woman and my name, that's a reality. Or if I annoy you, that's a reality. You don't even have a perspective that thoughts are appearing and colouring your reality like that. Now normally people that listen to me, because I'm not so great with the beginners, have already come to conclusion and realised that thoughts are appearing. And there is a consciousness of thoughts. Now two things happen there. So there's these thoughts appearing, and there's this personal awareness and attention that you can move onto some thoughts or away to other thoughts or move onto your body. And that's a functioning of the body, and that's not the big consciousness, because there's actually something beyond that personal movement of attention. Often people think that personal movement of awareness is the real awareness, and at first they look at that and they think that's it. But actually you begin to see that there's something beyond that that's looking at the person moving their attention. So maybe some of you guys still believe that awareness is that personal movement of awareness. But actually that is known too. That's appearing in the dream, and that's a functioning of the body. But in my talks and in other people's non-duality talks, we use that personal movement of attention. I instruct people to move it. But no, that is a functioning too, and that's not actually who you are. So at first you really believe that you're these thoughts appearing, and that your thoughts are true and everything you think is true, and then you begin to see that's untrue, but then you still think you're that personal awareness, and that you're that person that kind of chooses, and there is somebody there that's aware of the thoughts, but they choose, they have feelings, and they're still moving in time. So that personal awareness is moving in time. So you came into this room, you sat on this seat, and you looked at the computer, and ta-da! Here was Lisa. Ta-da-ta-ta. Look at this fantastic jumper. I can see myself. Isn't it fantastic? Okay, sorry, serious non-duality, Lisa. The personal awareness, and a lot of people still believe they're that, and they believe that they have seen the true big awareness. but that person actually can't. You can't ever look at it. It's just looking. But often that's okay. That personal awareness turns around and feels like it's looking in the big awareness, and then eventually it sort of dissolves into it. But that's not actually who you are, and it's not actually someone that's having an experience. It is another experience. So the idea that you choose and that you're sitting here choosing to watch me is being experienced now. Something so big and boundless is experiencing that. That's not the actual experiencer. So there is a feeling of choice.